Hi everyone, how are you? Today I'm going to read you an old book. This was my book when I was a little girl, and it's called Alexander and the Magic Mouse. It was written by Martha Sanders, and Philippe Fix is the illustrator. Let me show you the back cover. Alexander and the Magic Mouse. This is a long story, so I'm going to read it in two parts, and I'm going to read it to myself and then show you the pictures. It's falling apart. It's an old book. There once was an old lady who lived in a house on top of a hill. It was the only hill for miles around. At the foot of the hill was the river, and on the other side of the river there was the town. After that, as far as the eye could see, there was only the great empty prairie. The old lady was never lonely, for she lived with her animal friends. A London brindle squatting cat, a magical mouse, an alligator from China, and a yak. You may think that is a strange household, but they got on together very well. It is true that the brindle London squatting cat, when he was not squatting in the sun on the doorstep, spent a great deal of time thinking of how to catch the magical mouse. But the magical mouse just made herself invisible and never got caught. Alexander the alligator had a mirror which the old lady had given him, and he liked to walk back and forth slowly in front of it so as to admire his smile. His smile was almost 3 feet long. It took quite a while to admire it enough. On warm days, Alexander would waddle down the hill to the river and go for a swim near a sign the old lady had put up. It said, "Beware the dangerous alligator," but that was to keep people away. Alexander was not dangerous at all, but the old lady did not want him to frighten anyone. There are many people who cannot tell the difference between an alligator who is smiling and an alligator who is not smiling. But Alexander always hoped that if he smiled enough, people would understand how much he liked them. Sometimes when he was swimming, he would poke his head above the water and smile beautifully in case anyone should be near. But the few times he saw people, they always cried, "Help!" and ran away, and that made Alexander feel very sad. As for the yak, she was a lady yak and gave each day 1.5 quarts of yak milk, which is very rich and sweet and could be made into yak butter and yak cream. The yak romped in the orchard and galloped up and down the hill. And the magical mouse? She came with the house. She had always been there. The animals all loved the old lady dearly. Each afternoon at 5 o'clock, the old lady rang a small shiny bell. Tea was served. All the animals came into the drawing room and sat down and had tea and cakes and told what had happened that day. The brindle London squatting cat had to promise to not try to catch the magical mouse during tea time. All the same, the magical mouse made herself invisible. She never took chances. The old lady would put a bit of cake on the top of the table near the knitting basket, and presently it would be gone. Sometimes as the cake was disappearing, the brindle London squatting cat would forget himself and raise his paw over the place. Then the old lady would look at him disapprovingly and say, "Now, now," and he would put his paw down again, frowning. One fine afternoon in May, as they had all just sat down to tea and the old lady was about to ask them to tell them their adventures, a tiny voice came from the knitting basket. Everyone was very surprised, for the magical mouse was shy and never spoke unless she had something very important to say. They waited in silence. Then the magical mouse squeaked, "It is going to rain for 30 days and 30 nights. My tail tells me so, and my tail is never wrong. We must get ready." The old lady got up and went to the window. There was not a cloud in the sky. "Are you sure?" she asked. "My tail tells me so, and my tail is never wrong," said the magical mouse, and that was all she would say. Her feelings were hurt. She refused to tell them when the storm would begin. "Let us think," said the old lady, sitting down again. "We must have plenty of wood to burn, and plenty to eat, and a great many books and games to amuse ourselves with." Then they all bustled about. The alligator brought in logs of wood from the woodpile. The yak dug up a supply of vegetables from the garden. The old lady looked in all the cupboards to be sure there was plenty of flour and molasses and marmalade and strawberry jam and pickled watermelon and ginger tea. Everyone worked very hard except the Brindle London squatting cat, who finished his cake and went to sleep. That night, when they went to bed, feeling snug and safe and rather excited, they had gotten ready just in time, for very early the next morning it began to rain gently. By lunchtime, the drops were coming down hard and fast. They built a cheerful fire, and the old lady read sea stories out loud. It was like a holiday. From time to time they looked out the window at the gray rain falling and falling. What a splendid storm! They felt adventurous themselves, as if the house were a tall old ship that they were bravely keeping afloat. I'm going to end right there, and I'm going to do another video for part 2. Bye.